everyone, my name is Javi and I'm going to voice this tutorial by Joel Hernandez, digital artist and 3D designer. In this After Effects tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this glitch effect that you can see here and that you can apply to your logos or to a photo. For this, we'll use our logo and a free video resource I attached in order to do this tutorial. So, let's get into it! Well, we're going to start by opening After Effects and we're going to import our logo and our glitch effect footage. Okay, here it is. First of all, we're going to create a new composition and we're going to make it 1280 by 720. But if you want to change it, you're free to do so. 30 frames per second and black background color. Hit OK. We're going to add our logo and our glitch to the composition. Make sure the glitch video is above the logo and we're going to disable sound and image on it. Okay, here is our logo. So first we'll create the glitch effect. In order to do this, we have to create a new layer, so right-click, New, and let's make it an adjustment layer. Let's add an effect called Distortion Map. We can find it here, Effects, Distort, Displacement Map. Let's add the effect and take a look at the options it offers. The first option is going to be the reference for After Effects to make the distortion. Our reference is going to be the video we were talking about before. So we'll select Screen Glitch and we can already see it forming. If we leave it like this and check the results, we can already see a certain effect. We just have to change the patterns depending on the glitch or glitch style we're going to need. In this case, we can increase horizontal and vertical displacement, which we'll set to 70. And we can see now the effect is faster and more fragmented. We can even change what both displacement options take as a reference. In this case, it takes red color, that is everything red in our screen. The effect will take as a reference for this movement. We can switch it to green and we can see how it will result in a different effect, or to hue, which will feel like a stretch effect. In short, we can set it as we like. We already have the effect, so what we're going to do is trim the layer in time and duplicate it as many times as necessary. Then we'll modify the settings for each of them so it does a different kind of effect and it's a bit more real. We're going to set these to 60, for example, and we'll change this to blue and these to hue, for example. We'll duplicate again with Ctrl D. We'll make it shorter. And we'll change it too. We'll make it a lot lighter, so we'll set it around 10. We'll set the colors to green and red. We can see now that this fragmentation is a bit rougher, and this one too, but this one is a bit smoother to finish. With this, we would have the first part of the effect. Now with the second part. Next on our list is we're going to get our logo, we're going to duplicate it twice, and we're going to create a version of our logo in red, another one in blue, and another one in green, one for each of the RGB colors. We're going to select our logo and we'll name it red. We use Ctrl D to make two copies, and we rename them in order not to get confused. Blue and green. Okay, once we've done this, we're going to add an effect on each of the layers, which will be levels. So we're going to search for it in the Effects and Presets tab, and we're going to select Levels Individual Controls, this one right here. We're going to apply one for each layer, one for red, one for blue, and one for green. Once we've done this, we'll go layer by layer and set the color we need in each case. For red, we'll get green's output white, which is set to 255 to 0. And we'll repeat the same action for blue's output white. Red, of course, will say in 255, which is the maximum value. Now we'll repeat the operation with blue, but setting red and green to 0. And in the case of green, we'll turn down red and blue. Alright, so now we would have our three colors ready: green, blue, and red. Next, we'll set the top two layers blending modes to screen. To access this feature, we're going to press F4 to toggle between switches and modes in case it wasn't already on. And the blending modes drop-down menus will appear besides the names of the layers. We'll set the top two to screen. Once we've done this, the next step is to create a null object. For this, we click Layer, New, Null Object. The null object, as you can see, is a transparent box which we can animate around and make other objects follow it. This way we save time not having to animate each element separately. We're going to rename it to RGB. These will represent the movement of our three colors. Our aim is for them to blend and result in a kind of 3D look. For this, we need to create a wiggling movement, which we'll do using the wiggle function. In order to do this, we're going to first add an effect to the null object. So we'll click Effect, Expression Controls, Slider Control. Once we've done this, we have to remember to lock the Effects Control tab. We'll see why a bit later. So lock it by clicking here, and now we'll continue with the wiggling. Alright, so in order to make the layer wiggle, we're going to use a semi-automatic method, so to speak, consisting in using what we call an expression. That's the reason why we'll lock the Effects Control tab. If you'd like to animate layer by layer on position, pressing P, we could modify each layer's keyframes separately and do with each color whatever we see fit. In this case, we'll select the red layer, press P to bring the position options up, and while holding Alt, we're going to click the watch icon. This will activate a text box, and here is where we'll use the expression. We're going to write wiggle, open parentheses. The first number we'll type represents the frequency of the wiggle. In our case, we'll set it to 10. And then a comma. It's very important for the effect to work correctly that we write the expression properly, or else we will get an error message. Next, we drag and drop the pick whip, which is this little spiral that lets you link parameters, to the slider control we created in the RGB layer. To finish writing the expression, we close parentheses and click outside the text box. That's it. You won't notice any change right away, mainly because the slider is still set to 0. But if we slide it up or down, we can see the animation changing to the effect we're looking for. So, what we have to do now is to reduce the layer's duration in time and animate our effect. For this, we're going to use the keyframe buttons, but first we'll set the slider to 0. Now we're going to create a keyframe, and if we select the layer and press U, here we have the information we're talking about. We'll leave it on 0 until the first effect comes in, which is here. And here we'll make it go up to 25. Then we'll take it down to 4. And to finish, we'll set it to 0 again. You now know how to animate it, so you can do it however you like best. And we can add a finishing touch, selecting all of our keyframes. Then right-click, Keyframe Interpolation. Here, as you can see, linear is selected, but we can change it to Bezier, for example, and the effect that we'd get is a smoother animation. We're going to finish this effect by adding a last layer. So we'll unlock the Effect Controls tab and we'll create a new adjustment layer. So just right-click in an empty part below the layers, New Adjustment Layer. We're going to add a new effect to this layer, so let's type in TV. And we'll get 3 results from which we can choose the one that adjusts best to our results. I'll choose the third one and we'll apply it to the adjustment layer. We can see how our logo was completely deformed by the effect, and we can take advantage from this effect, restricting its application so we get kind of a glitchier effect. So we'll create a mask so the effect doesn't affect all the logo and make the layer shorter so we can apply it many times throughout the composition. Now we can use Ctrl-D to this layer to duplicate it. Let's see how this affects our logo. We can see how it creates a partition of the logo and disappears. We can make another one. We'll duplicate the layer again. And create a different effect a bit later. For example, here. We can see how this provides another little effect we can manipulate however we want. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so now it's a matter of combining the effects we applied according to your liking and needs or the look you want to achieve. I hope you found it easy to do and that you can apply it on your work.